Welcome to round 5 of Pro Tour Fate Reforged. I'm Rashad Miller, joined by Hall of Famer Randy Buehler. We are going to watch Paul Cheon, who is a great story coming into this tournament, fresh off a GP win not too long ago. He is playing...
Not too long ago. It was like 4 days ago.
You know, I try to give each tournament its own due.
He booked his flight 3 days ago when he discovered that by winning the Grand Prix, he could use that silver invitation. He got enough pro points to hit silver. He's like, you know what? I think I'll use my silver invitation 3 days from now in DC. Booked a flight on Monday. Obviously, he's on Channel Fireball, so here you go.
And Stanislav Cifka, he's been qualified for this tournament for a while.
Oh, yeah.
He's playing a great black-white tokens deck, and we're going to see how it matches up with Abzan, which is probably the story of the weekend.
Yeah. Stanislav Cifka has basically been qualified for everything ever since he won a Modern Pro Tour with that Eggs deck. Definitely not afraid to play off the beaten path decks. He is playing 4 copies of Intangible Virtue in this deck. He's black-white tokens. This is something I know when Bitter Blossom got unbanned, people were speculating about it. You know, maybe you play Bitter Blossom alongside Lingering Souls and Spectral Procession and you put it in a black-white tokens deck. And you know what? That is exactly what Stanislav Cifka has done. All his creature tokens are just bigger than yours. And in a field full of Intangible Virtue, or full of Lingering Souls, that could be a big deal.
Now, how deep down the creature token path did he actually go? Are there Midnight Hauntings?
There are 4 Spectral Processions.
That's actually a really good one.
There are main deck Timely Reinforcements.
Okay.
Sorin Solemn Visitor can make a token creature.
It also interacts well with tokens.
Yeah, no, this deck looks sweet. This whole round, we're going to get to some sweetness. We've got Pat Chapin in here off camera as well.
Meanwhile, just a boring old Noble Hierarch for Paul Cheon.
Yeah, Paul is... he's got a couple, it's weird, he's like halfway in between the 2 Abzan decks we saw last round. 2 Gavany Townships and 3 Noble Hierarchs, but he does have the Tarmogoyfs and he does have 3 Lilianas, so more on the normal expected side of the Abzan deck, not so much the I really wish I was still playing Birthing Pod side of the Abzan deck.
There you see a very different look from both the players. Stanislav Cifka always smiling.
Always.
as he plays Magic. He just loves this game. And Paul Cheon is deep in the tank on turn 2, mapping out probably the next 4 turns of this game. And it starts off with the Lingering Souls.
You get a spirit token?
We'll get some spirit tokens for you guys. In the meanwhile, we have some Stanislav Cifka player tokens. Where the battle of the self-portrait tokens. Who wins this one?
Apparently Stanislav Cifka wins.
Well, not for long. They're just hanging out.
Stanislav also came with Fairy Rogue tokens.
Yep. He came prepared, unlike Paul Cheon, although he didn't know he was coming here until
I think Paul
last weekend.
Also, Paul has his own tokens.
Ooh, Windswept Heat. Another, Wimber's Heist. I mean, another blast from the past.
Yeah, I don't know how good this deck is, but it's certainly sweet. I am very curious to see how well it matches up here. Cifka did win the last round. Both these guys are 1-0 in Constructed after having good draft performances, too.
Yeah, this deck is very reminiscent of the deck from Standard of old, when all these cards were legal in Standard, and Wimber's Heights was a big player in that deck.
Not something that's had a big impact on Modern, though.
No. There hasn't been a real token deck to want to support that card. And there's Intangible
Virtue.
The crusade for token creatures. But they also get Vigilance.
So Bitter Blossom makes 2/2 Vigilance creatures now. That's what you're telling me.
2/2 fly Vigilant creatures.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Outclassed.
Those Lingering Souls tokens on Paul Cheon's side of the board do not look nearly as impressive.
I mean, they look almost as boring as that Noble Hierarch that's sitting there.
I mean, attack, Noble Hierarch, trigger. Oh, now I can trade? This isn't the way this is supposed to work.
Well, I mean, that's probably not bad, but, you know, that's not what you really want to happen. But it looks like that might be the consideration. Get in there, because this is the only way you can trade with your tokens.
Right, and I'll trade on defense.
But, you know, Cifka doesn't bite. He takes 2 because he gets to attack for 4 on a backswing and still gets the option of blocking. Well, he will once he builds up his fleet of
Boy, Liliana doesn't look great
tokens.
on this board either.
Not great at all.
Paul's hand is a bunch of land and a Liliana. But I guess Gavany Township can sort of try to fight Intangible Virtue. Eventually, it wins the fight.
Yeah,
Takes
I mean,
quite a while, though.
Liliana does have the ability to make Stanislav discard his last card.
Sure.
If we get to that, that's probably the best he can get out of that Liliana.
All right, I just heard the update from the back table. I would not have predicted this update coming in.
I would have predicted it, but you can
Only
go
because
ahead
I told
and
you
say
about Patrick Chapin's deck. Patrick Chapin has a Gurmag Angler in play.
it. I don't think I've even played that in Limited yet.
Fire.
Gurmag Angler, that's 6B, 5/5 vanilla other than Delve. You know what else Patrick Chapin just did?
Okay.
He protected it by casting Stubborn Denial, which
That's-
is with the Ferocious trigger from the Gurmag Angler.
That's a hard counterspell. He probably only spent 2 mana on that turn. But meanwhile, speaking of turns, we played a Vault of the Archangel and a Sorin. So this board
Wow.
position just got really, really good for Stanislav.
This deck looks great.
Seems well positioned, especially with Lingering Souls making a comeback and a lot of token strategies. If your tokens are a little bit bigger,
He's set up to get lifelink here too, right?
yeah.
He gets to
Lifelink.
play a 4th land. Lifelink, and I mean, I don't know how relevant the Death Touch is.
Well, probably not in this matchup.
Right,
but
I'm sure it's good in other matchups. So he could, this army of tokens that Stanislav can put together, they can get lifelink either from the lands or from the Sorin. That's going to win a lot of races.
Why not both? Well, there's no reason for both. Inquisition of
Yeah,
Kozilek.
double lifelink doesn't actually do anything.
So Inquisition, he shows
Yeah.
him.
Liliana's the only target. Liliana and a bunch of land.
So that's one thing Liliana's good for. Liliana just 1 for 1.
Meanwhile, over on our King of the Hill table, Jäger Viegersma has resolved Game 1 Blood Moon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Who did he just inflict this
he
upon?
inflicted that upon
Justin
Justin
McGuire.
McGuire, who's playing Jeskai Control. So,
I don't think there's a lot of basic lands in the Jeskai control deck.
well, he could cast some of his spells.
Cast the red ones.
He can cast the red ones. They're usually the most important
He
ones.
can't really attack the Celestial Colonnade, though.
No, he can't do that. Not anymore. He can Lightning Bolt him with a Celestial Colonnade. All right, both players are still deep in the tank here. A lot of tokens in play. The board's really cluttered. Stanislav is contemplating.
He went plus on the Sorin. It's the most relevant thing.
Plus on the Sorin. So these are,
2/2, flying, vigilance, lifelink,
but they also get +1.
and +1/+0.
Yep, so
so
they're
3/2 flying, vigilance.
And there's a vampire.
lifelink.
So I think that vampire is a
4/3?
a 4/3.
I mean, does this work reliably? This looks so good.
It seems pretty consistent. There's a lot of redundancy on creating tokens and then
Yeah, no, it does
giving them
look like it should
bonuses.
be consistent. And like it looks really good in this Abzan matchup. Like, how do you...
And also, right now, Windburst Heist is active.
Ah,
We don't know what's underneath it.
you're correct.
We don't know what's underneath that Windburst Heist, but it could jump out in the ambush.
Yeah.
We have luck. Sure.
All right, Gavany Township doing what it can to fight this fight.
2 on each fairy token.
Sounds like Pat Chapin's Gurmag Angler has been joined by a Tassiger. And Jacob Wilson won a game, I guess, with Whitleaf Liege.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it was a fast Whit Liege. I wonder how fast was it? Was
Turn
it
one.
was it Thoughtseize fast, or was it just Noble Hierarch fast?
Just regular
Just
fast.
just just regular fast, fast enough to beat Infect. So that's interesting.
All right, well, Cheon got to trade 2 of his Lingering Souls for a couple of fairies.
And usually Bitter Blossom is, because every token you make, you lose a life. But we're looking at Stanislav's life, and it's at 23.
Oh, yeah.
Sorin plus Bitter Blossom, besties.
What was under the Windbriz Kites? It was
Path to Exile. Path to Exile takes out the Noble Hierarch, so just a downgrade. Downgrade your mana producer that has Exalt to just a mana producer of 1 color.
And I mean, Noble Hierarch's not just Exalted, it's also a thing that sees Gavany Township.
Exactly. Gets the planes. So Looks like a Splinter Twin also resolved for Yogo Vigasma. And you know what that means. It was probably on a Pestermite, and he probably won that game. So he leads
Yep.
1-0
He
over
seems-
Justin McGuire.
He sounds comfortable in that King of the Hill chair. He wants to hang out for the rest of the day.
I think he went out and got his own crown. I think he figures he's going to stay there for a while. Yeah, this is a head-scratcher, Paul Cheon. Plays another land. He had a lot of land in his hand when his hand was revealed to that Thoughtseize. And he's still got quite a bit.
I don't know. It's not clear that Paul Cheon has actually lost to Magic in like a week or two. I'm not sure I believe this. We'll see what happens in the next couple of games. I don't like Paul's chances here.
Yeah, but Gavany Township is
He's
still...
fighting a good fight.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the path for the Vampire. Okay.
Path
Because that Vampire was still at 3-2 from the Sorin.
That's right. That Sorin ability lasts until your next turn. So on offense and on defense, it gets that +1 to its power. Path to Exile is going to get rid of the blocker. So now these 3/3s. Not
Well,
sure who
no,
they're
the Fairy
attacking.
token's a 3-2. The Vampire was a 4-3.
Yeah, the Vampire was a 4/3.
Thanks to Intangible Virtue and Sorin's
Yeah,
Plus.
the spirits are 3/3s. That's what I'll take. The spirits
So
are,
you trade Fairy for a Lingering Souls token, right?
seems like a fair trade. If they're both attacking Sorin, then maybe you just let them both hit
Ah,
it.
got it. That's what Paul must have attacked Sorin. This attack makes a lot more sense then. Because of his path, he clearing a path through to Sorin. One of these will get through. That has to be how he attacked, right?
Is this still a situation where you want to trade off your token for his token while you have the bonus and you have the Sorin and that token has a bunch of counters on it?
Yeah, I mean, Stanislav gains 3 life by making the trade now, and Gavany Township is about to outclass Intangible Virtue, so trade makes a lot of sense.
Right,
Paul
so
down
back
to the 1 token.
to Stan's turn. He gets another token from his Bitter Blossom. He's going to draw his card. Sorin's gone. It died to the spirit tokens, or at least to 1 spirit token.
It's our turn.
And just passes the turn back. Must not have drawn any action unless it's some instant that we weren't sure that he could have. Maybe a Path to Exile, but
So he can actually use the Death Touch ability on Vault of the Archangel to trade. It's like his 2/2 token has somehow been outclassed by the 4th Lingering Souls token and a Gavany Township. But he still gets to trade if he spends his mana on the Vault.
and not only does he get to trade, but he gets to gain that life back
Yep,
that
yep.
he's losing from this Bitter Blossom. So he's got a virtual unlimited supply. It's like it's Bitter Blossom token happy hour right now. The tokens just keep coming, free of cost.
No creatures.
Scavenger News comes down for Paul Cheon. And no creatures in any graveyard because Stanislav Cifka, he's playing the tokens deck. And I don't know does he have an actual creature? Are there any things with power and toughness?
Nope.
Any spells with power? No spells,
Not a
no power,
one.
no toughness. So Scavenger News will never target a creature in
It
Stanislav
can eat a
Cifka's.
Lingering Souls. It's not completely irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not irrelevant. There's also creatures in Paul Cheon's graveyard. So
Yeah.
seems like a tough one.
Did you get to this matchup in your 2 days testing for the Pro Tour, Paul?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably didn't play against it on stream either.
Seems unlikely.
24.
All right, back to Stanislav. He goes down to 24. Gets another token. He's not smiling now. I wonder what's changed. Attacks with a fairy. 2/2 vigilant. Flying. Threatening to give it death touch with the Vault of Archangel. And he gives it life. He gives it the death touch and lifelink after the block. All right, so we have another result that Patrick Chapin with the wonderful Delve cards and
Yeah?
featuring Fate Reforged. He didn't win.
Really?
He did not win.
Matt Sperling beat Gurmag, Angler, and Tassiger?
Yeah, Inkmoth Nexus and Archbound Ravager. Still doing it like it's
Aha.
2004, whenever those cards came out.
Sounds like it was a close game. Hopefully we'll be able to get game 2 of that match on camera.
All right, so Paul only has land so far. He has a Scavenger News. It's going to attack right now. The coast is clear because there's no way to. There's not enough mana over on Cifka's side to activate Vault of the Archangel. So in for 2, make it 3.
23. Your turn.
And Cifka goes down to 23. He's going to go down to 22 after this Bitter
All
Blossom.
the way down to 23?
All the way down to 23, then 22.
Got it.
Bitter Blossom.
Paul's definitely flooded a bit this game.
It's definitely flooded.
Did we get that life loss from the Bitter Blossom?
Looks like he picked up. Looks like he does have one spell in his hand. It's a Dismember. Not very good against the token
tokens
deck.
yeah.
10.
Eventually, he's going to target one of them.
Yes, your turn.
Probably not the best time right now.
Seems like all over the internet, people are dusting off their Bitter Blossoms mentally. Bitter Blossom, people play targeted removal? You just spit out a creature every turn? Card seems really good.
There we
It
get
was
it.
banned when the
Ooh.
format started.
So Cifka does have a little bit of action in his hand. He has a timely reinforcements. He has a Path to Exile just in case Cheon does come out with some type of threat. Has an Inquisition of Kozilek, but we're at a stage of the game that most spells that cost 3 or less are going to get played, especially with Paul being flooded the way that he is. So Cifka's
Vault
going
of the Archangel time.
Yep.
Just on offense, just for the lifelink.
It's race time, and Paul sees that this is not going well for him.
No, what is the Abzan deck supposed to do about a horde of flying token creatures? I mean, people play Lingering Souls because that card is so good in this matchup.
You know, Paul played a lot of Bitter Blossom back in his day, too.
Sure.
He was a big fairies player. Now he sees how it feels. Except, you know, they weren't too vigilant life-linking fairies back then. They were just a plain old 1/1 kind. Another blank, it looked like, for Paul. Well, maybe not. He ended up using that Dismember on a token because what else is it going to target?
Right.
And there's a Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf's got some size there. There's Planeswalker, there's Instant. That might be it, though. I think the graveyards have been munched away to the point where it's just graveyard in it. And there's just Instant and Planeswalker, so a 2/3. Treetop Village gets activated, and we go to combat. Attack with a couple of 3/3s. There's enough mana left to activate Gavany Township, so that threat is still on the table. And Cifka's considering he does have Path to Exile, and it looks like he has a Dismember.
Don't judge.
He also has a Timely Reinforcements, which probably won't be gaining him any life. All right, so double block on the Treetop Village, and Gavany Township is going to activate. That's going to make it a 4/4. So that's going to be a trade. 2 tokens for a land. Not really a fair trade, but
Even makes Tarmogoyf bigger.
does make Tarmogoyf a little bit bigger. It makes it 1 bigger because of the land going to graveyard.
17 to 8.
Yes.
So
Timely reinforcements.
timely reinforcements, right when you want them.
We have soldiers?
He gets soldiers because he has fewer creatures, which this is interesting. How often does the token deck have fewer creatures than the other deck?
Uh-huh.
But when it does, you play this one.
3 soldier tokens. He does not have less life, right?
There, we'll get some actual soldier tokens.
Wow. Become Immense on Blighted Agent just took down Jacob Wilson.
Wow, Become Immense is the card that's making that deck.
Oh, yeah.
So he is going. I mean, they're going to game 3. Lucas Berthal,
Yep.
who's playing that Infect deck against Jacob Wilson, who's obviously playing Abzan because that is his love.
I don't feel like the Birthing Pod deck was an Abzan deck. Those
You-
archetypes have merged now.
You are correct.
They were pretty distinct
They,
strategies.
they were different. They were 2 different strategies. They were 2 different decks. Similar strategies when you didn't drop Birthing Pod.
Right.
Is there a sorcery there, right?
Right, and so Path to Exile is going to take out the Scavenger News.
Not the Tarmogoyf.
Not the Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf is pretty big also. It is right now a 3/4 with the +1/+1 counter,
14.
I believe.
I think it's a
Oh, no,
4.
it's a 4/5.
Yeah,
the
we're on
sorcery went to the
instant
graveyard.
sorcery planeswalker land.
It's a 4/5 for the +1/+1 counter.
But that is 8 power worth of flyers.
That's 8 power. Nope. We
Oh,
have
they
some,
don't fly. The
yeah,
soldiers don't fly. Of
Yeah, the
course.
soldiers, they're on the ground. The reinforcements came by ground.
22 and 2 at 2.
But lifelink and death touch, and
20
Paul was obliged to block.
Yep, 22-2.
Here's show me the rest of your hand, so
Let's-
I have some more information for game 2.
Cards that didn't matter because you didn't have cards in your hand. So Cifka with his black and white tokens deck is looking pretty good, especially against Abzan. He takes the first game against Paul Cheon. And we will give you more action from round 5 of the feature match area right after this.
You've watched the Pro Tour. How about playing on the Pro Tour? Qualifiers for Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir are going on until February 22nd, with winners earning an invitation and airfare to Brussels in April. Visit magic.wizards.com/PTQ for more information. Hunt bigger game by playing in a Grand Prix. These open tournaments feature the best players in your region as well as top Magic pros from around the world. Upcoming Grand Prix include Seville, Memphis, Vancouver, Miami, Liverpool, Cleveland, and Auckland. Visit magic.wizards.com/Grand Prix for the complete schedule.
And we're back in the feature match area. And for all of you out there who, have some type of fantasy Magic league going on to figure out which cards from Fate Reforged are going to make it on the modern stage.
I hope you had Gurmag Angler.
I also hope you had Gurmag Angler because we're about to take a look at Matt Sperling, who's playing Infect. No, he's playing Affinity.
Yeah, he's Affinity.
He's playing Affinity, which can infect you.
Yeah.
But he's playing against Patrick Chapin, who's playing a Esper Delve list with Gurmag Angler.
And 4 Tassigers. It starts with 4 Tassiger, but
okay,
also
sure.
4 Gurmag Angler.
I like to start with 4 Gurmag Angler.
I do too. I totally get you. Can we start with Mishra's Bauble? Because he plays 4 copies of Mishra's Bauble in his main deck.
Let's just start everywhere. Let's just start with all of the cards that he has going on. But let me tell you what's going on in this board state because this is pretty relevant. The Affinity deck has a Vault Scourge, a Mem Knight, a Arkbar Ravager, 3 land,
And is that Tempered Steel?
That is a Rest in Peace.
Oh, Rest in Peace.
That's a Rest in Peace. Not very good if you're trying to delve.
That does seem like a problem for Pat's
A
deck.
very big problem. Although, Gurmag Angler, you can still play for 7 mana. And it looks like Patrick was able to cast the Lingering Souls, probably not able to get the flashback portion of that because of Rest in Peace, assuming it was in play before. So this is a really slow game, at least from Chapin's side, but he does have a couple of tokens that can block some 1 toughness creatures.
Yeah, Patrick's deck seems sweet, but it turns out Affinity is still pretty good. It is a Tempered Steel list, but other than that, all the usual suspects, including the sideboard Rest in Peace.
Glinthawk?
No.
Aww. When will Glinthawk have his time in the sun? One day.
That's priority.
All right, so
One
a couple
goes
of blocks.
through.
He's just
I
going to
gain
take
one.
out.
You at 13,
So
me at
no
20.
activation on the Ravager. He's just going to let it die, and it's going to move counters. Oh no, the
It
counters.
doesn't die.
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't go to the
die.
graveyard
It
because
just
of the Rest in
Yeah.
Peace.
does not.
He wanted the token to die, so he was content. I mean, he could have had it eat itself to
Yeah.
move a counter, but that wouldn't have killed the token.
Interesting. So a little bit of a Nambo over for the
Little
modular / Rest in Peace. But I think
Yeah, I
a
think-
small price to pay.
You're playing against a Delve deck. You're playing against a deck with fundamentally a graveyard strategy.
All right, so you can see up in the upper right-hand corner that our main match has started. But we're going to stay at this match because we want to see a Gurmag Angler. Man, I don't think I've ever seen one in real life. I've only heard...
You
I've
play
only
that
heard-
guy in Limited. He is
I've-
underrated in
I've
Limited.
only
People should be
heard-
drafting that guy higher than they are.
I've only heard tales of that guy in the Loch Ness Monster going to the bar.
Angler did 15 in game 1 here.
You know what? Sometimes it gets by with a little help from his friends.
Sure. Well, here's cranial plating.
Clear myself.
Everybody wants to be
Sure.
friends
Cranial
with the cranial
plating.
plating.
And there are enough artifacts
Yeah.
in play so that...
Darksteel Citadel.
yeah.
It's the Metalcraft on the Edge Champion, so what is that, 5?
1, 2,
And
3,
then Knight is 6.
4. As long, we're not sure if those are activated or if they were tapped for mana. I think they're all tapped for mana. So 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts in place. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 damage with this attack from Matt Sperling.
Interesting.
Path on a Memite.
Well, Metalcraft means he can't target the Edge Champion.
Yep, Edge Champion has protection from all colors as long as you have Metalcraft.
I'll pass priority.
All right.
I have you taking a total of 5.
I'm at 8.
Okay.
Yeah. 5's a lot better than 7. At least it's a 3-turn clock.
Your turn.
All right, so I don't know what Chapin's game plan is
No,
against
this seems
cards like
tough.
Rest in Peace.
Rest in Peace.
You
seems
have
like
to
the
think
problem.
that Patrick Chapin would have considered cards like that, or Leyline of the Void, or any other card that just doesn't allow you to get cards into your graveyard. He's got to have a game plan.
Well, his game plan for this matchup is Kataki. I haven't
Okay.
seen that come out yet.
Kataki won't be very useful on this board. There's a lot of mana that's just sitting in play, not doing a lot of anything. So, but here's 3 mana. 3 mana for a Fulminator Mage. Interesting.
Rolls.
Hilarious. He could almost turn off Metalcraft, except, of course, that Darksteel Citadel is indestructible.
Yeah, unfortunately. He can't even block with that
Nope,
Fulminator
can't even
Mage.
block.
All it can do is attack or hold back a Blinkmoth Nexus. It does that very well.
Oh,
Actually,
2 Darksteel Citadels. My bad.
no.
Or no, two Nexus.
Yeah, those are 2 Nexuses.
1 Citadel.
All right, so 1 mana. There's a Vault
18.
Scourge.
Resolve.
Insurance for Metalcraft.
Clear my attack.
Yeah.
Attack.
No blocks.
All right, so attack this. That's going to be attack for 6, I believe. But this is going to activate
a Nexus.
a Nexus and be 7.
Does he activate one
Pass
more?
priority.
He can activate 1 more,
Oh, he
but
passed priority.
the Fulminator Mage
Yeah,
can
sure.
just destroy 1 and.
He could force Patrick's hand by activating the other one, but doesn't look
Right.
like he wants to. Presumably because he has something to spend that mana on.
Unsure, cannot get a good look at Sperling's hand.
All right, so your guy is currently a 7-2.
5, 6, 7. Yep, that's 7.
That's what I have.
Matt's given him the option to not destroy the
Right.
Blinkmoth Nexus, which is kind of interesting.
Well, if Matt has something he wants to spend his mana on, this is
All
totally
right,
fine.
I'll destroy the one you activated.
Okay. I'll activate the other one.
Yep.
So you take 7.
1.
All right, so he puts Chapin down to 1
Your turn.
and passes the turn. Still not sure if there is a card in Sperling's hand that he really wants to cast for 2 mana and is unable to do right now. But he was content with leaving putting Patrick Chapin to 1 instead of leaving him at 2. 1 makes the Blinkmoth Nexus lethal. 1 makes the Vault Scourge lethal. The S Champion's already lethal and a very hard to deal with threat.
Yeah, didn't really get to see Patrick's decks do its thing, but
He
he's
is-
still in decent shape. He's 3-2 if he loses this game.
Attack
So
the
still
work
very
rate.
much in the thick of it. Oh, here's Kataki.
Is that game?
Little bit late.
Little late for Kataki. What's that?
Is that game?
It resolves.
That's game, right? Infinity can't beat a Kataki.
Technically, it is game. Only because
It's in the other direction.
Yeah, Matt's gonna tap and attack him for at
You think
least
he'll
1.
you think he'll pay the upkeep on the important cards?
I think he's gonna pay the upkeep on all of his creatures.
Meanwhile, you can see in the look-in, Paul Cheon coming back. Tassiger's in play there. I was promised Delve cards in this matchup, but it's Cheon who's got a Tassiger in play.
Well, and also Patrick Chapin was 1 mana away from casting his Gurmai.
Hard casting.
I get a card count 2.
2.
2 cards in Patrick Chapin's hand. Looks like that's a Thought Seize for Matt Sperling. Doesn't have the black mana to cast that.
I'm going to pay for 3 artifacts. They're going to be these 3, okay?
Okay, so he's paying for 3 artifacts,
The land, the champion, and the cranial plating.
Attack.
and he attacks with the
Should do
lethal
it.
champion. And that's
And
it.
it does.
Patrick Chapin goes down. We don't get to see any cool Delve shenanigans, and Matt Sperling shows us that Affinity still has what it takes.
Still good.
Still good. All right, so now we're going back to our main table. This is Paul Cheon versus Stanislav Cifka. They're in progress. A little bit better of a board state. I'll let you know what it is once we... Here we go. So a Battered Skull joins a Spirit Token, a Tassiger, and a Tarmogoyf.
Yep.
And over on Stanislav's side, he has a couple of Intangible Virtues and a Lone Vampire token. Now, this is actually an interesting set of cards. You have Tassiger, which some considered, very Tarmogoyf-esque. And you also have Tarmogoyf.
Intangible virtue number 3. The vampire attacks for 5 in the air.
That vampire, that's a big boy.
You can block a Tassiger and beat it up in combat. You can block a Germ token and beat it up in combat.
It looks like you could block that Tarmogoyf as well and beat it up in combat. But the combination of Battle Skull on one of those creatures probably makes that a little bit different. Swings the race.
He's basically made an Archangel.
I remember that card. Same amount of mana, too, about.
For all of those?
Yeah. All right, so Tassiger looks like he's lining up an attack, but not attacking yet, because Tassiger does not have Vigilance.
Combat. Yeah.
Yeah, Cheon sends everybody.
Everybody goes in. The Battle Skull stays put. I guess you
Well,
get
Cifka's
value
at-
out of that token while it's there.
I mean, Cifka's at 9 is the thing. How big? I don't know how big Tarmogoyf is, but this is.
Tarmogoyf
If
looks
it's a 4, I think this is lethal.
Yeah, it looks like a 4. I see
Planeswalker land.
Yep, there's an enchantment in there, a land, a Planeswalker.
And then
Maybe
something else.
There could be something else. So it looks like a 4, it could be a 3.
Yeah, if it's a 4, I think this attack is lethal, right? You block a 4, and then you take 4 + 4 + 1. If Cifka's at 9, then he'll need to have a trick with those last 2 lands.
Well, it looks like Cifka's lining up a block on
He's
Tassiger.
thinking about it. He must have something.
He could have Path to Exile. He could have any other removal spells.
2 mana 4.
For Dismember.
Does that even turn a profit?
Well,
I guess
Dismember, it
He
does.
paid 2 mana,
It doesn't die.
so only 1 Phyrexian.
Right, so that's 2 life.
It does not die, but it does shrink.
It deals 0 damage now.
Yeah, yeah. But this. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. 0/1.
No.
It's a 1/2.
Tribal here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, tribal!
Oh, Tribal!
Bitter Blossom puts the tribal card type.
I'm at 1, yeah?
So it actually still maintains a power, and Cifka's going down to 1.
I'm surprised he did the Tarmogoyf rather than the Germ token, but... All right, here's a whole bunch of Lingering Souls tokens.
Lingering Souls, flash it back. That's 4 1/1s. Everything is lethal, Stanislav Cifka. What do you got for me? He's smiling. Does that mean it's good?
He's always smiling.
Oh, so he passes a turn. Never say die.
He's
no
one
attack
he's
either.
1 short of channel harm.
He is 1 short of channel.
Wait,
so,
that's limited. I don't think you have to worry about that in Modern.
I don't know. I don't know. You probably would have said the same thing about Gurmag Angler. But the Alpha Strike from Paul Cheon does get the concession, so we are going to see a game 3 with these guys.
Bitter Blossom in a while. Ugh.
All right, so you get a good view of the feature match area right here. And we're going to take a look at the Jacob Wilson matchup versus Lucas Berthal. This is Infect versus Abzan.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of Infect running around.
Oh, just saw a handshake.
Oh, which way?
Well, I mean, they both. It was kind of mirrored.
Oh, Jacob Wilson attacking for lethal, using Path to Exile to remove the blocker so Siege Rhino could trample over for the final points.
The old trample trick.
That works.
Yeah, so Jacob Wilson moves on to 4-1. And we only have 1 match left. That's Yorgos Vigasma versus Justin McGuire. This is the Splinter Twin versus Jeskai Control matchup. And we see a Blood Moon in
Once
play.
again, is this game 2?
This is game 2. And
Yelger
Yelger
got
is
the
up
first one.
again.
Looks like 3 basic islands. Wow, basic islands and basic planes. Celestial Purge is trying to take
So,
out Blood Moon.
Yeah, I'll let you know what's in play. We have a Blood Moon. Well, we had a Blood Moon. It's just got a Celestial Purged. Right now, there's just a lone Restoration Angel over for...
Justin McGuire was ready for Blood Moon, by the way. His board includes 3 basic islands, 2 basic plains, and a basic mountain.
You go ahead.
Wait, did you say... Oh, board. I thought you meant sideboard.
No, his you look
It's
at what
his
he's
board
got in
state.
play.
He definitely has
And
all of the basics.
This is a man who was prepared to possibly have to deal with enemy Blood Moons. They are very classy APAC basic lanes as well. I'm a fan of those.
Nope, the life totals are pretty low, a 6 to 9, and there's a Snapcaster animation just came down. I think it's still on a stack.
It's on the stack. Yeah, Restoration Angel's a 2-turn clock, so Yelger needs to deal with it. And we're gonna fight.
Counter and draw against your Snapcaster Mage.
Dismiss your Snapcaster, maybe.
Snapcaster Mage
another
in
Snap. Now we got us a
response.
stack. Snapcaster on the bottom. Cryptic Command is attempting to counter and draw. Other Snapcasters on top of that. Yelger can potentially counter draw that Cryptic Command.
Oh, it looks
but
like it resolved.
he goes for
Dispel.
Dispel, sure. Only wants to spend 1 mana. Doesn't want to open up, you know, spell pierces or anything like that.
So not only
So
does
that
he
works.
yeah, and the second Snapcaster Mage looks like it targeted the Cryptic Command.
The second one was Cryptic Command?
Yeah, the first one, the one that resolved. The second one that resolved. The first one dispelled.
Interesting. I thought he might. Did
And
he
then-
not have a removal spell for the Angel? All he can do is bounce it?
I don't think he does. It looks like he said the second one and he shook the Cryptic Command. All right, so there's 4 mana, and Cryptic Command is going to bounce it and draw a card.
He's created a repulse that also puts a 2/1 into play.
Yoga's down to 5. He had to sack a fetch land in order to do this. And I assume this
Sure.
is all at the end of
Well,
Justin's
I think it was
turn.
in combat. That was
This-
with
oh.
Restoration Age in the red zone.
Right, so Justin McGuire gets to use 5 mana to see what he can add back to the board state after Yoga bounced.
Just drop the Angel again, while Yugger's only got 2 mana.
Yeah, it seems fine.
I mean, blocking is relevant. He's at 9. Doesn't really want to take 4 from the Snapcasters. Looks
He
like
has
there's a-
Lightning Bolt and Path to Exile,
Yes, he
so he does have
does.
answers to those Snapcasters. And he can always just
He is
do
in
those
fact going to just play the Restoration Angel main phase.
passes the turn. Leaves up both. Well, he didn't leave up a white mana source, but he does have a Scalding Tarn, so he can sack it and probably get a white source if he really wants to cast Path to Exile. But he would be taking 3 damage if he did that. Serum Visions for Yoga Vigasma. Not sure what he picked up. He's looking at the top 2.
It's one of those spots for Justin where he knew Yugger couldn't drop an instant Pestermite or Deceiver XR because Yugger was tapped down to 2.
Yoga does have Splinter Twin in his hand. Not sure if he has a Pestermite or a Deceiver XR.
I mean, Splinter Twin on Snapcaster doesn't suck. That's some value, right? You're just like, all right, I'll cast this card from my graveyard. I'll cast this card from my graveyard.
That definitely is a value plan. I'm not sure if he has enough proactive cards to make that really profitable.
I saw Lightning Bolt in his hand.
Yeah, there's a Lightning Bolt in hand, so that's 6 damage with that combination. There's probably another Cryptic Command in there, so he can at least draw into something and buy himself a little more time from that Restoration Angel. But let's see what Yelger decides is going to be his plan of action.
Yeah, I see Bolt, Splinter Twin. Not sure what the others. Yeah, he's going to go for Splinter Twin on Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, there it is. He agrees with your play.
I'm not sure Justin wants this to happen, though.
He has a couple of ways to interact with
He
it.
does. He's got a Path to Exile, which he can't cast without cracking a fetch land. He's got a Lightning Bolt, which he can. And I think I saw a Wear Tear as the 3rd card in his hand.
Interesting. Wear Tear, I don't think you want to give him that one activation.
No, exactly. He would get to activate the Splinter Twin once. Good enough to bust the combo up, but you don't really want to give your opponent value when the race is this close.
Oh, he's going to sacrifice the fetch land. Is he going to get a Hollow Fountain and take 3 damage total? He
Evidently.
is. Goes down to 6, so it looks like Path to Exile. I wonder why he's favoring Path to Exile in this situation.
Because he wants to bolt Yelger's face.
Ah.
One Restoration hit and a Lightning Bolt is lethal. So yeah, use the Path as the creature removal spell. Justin is going to go for this next turn.
Let's see if Yoga has an out. See if he has an answer to this. He has another Splinter Twin. Don't know if he wants to just throw it on this second Snapcaster
Maybe
Mage.
tap down to 3 mana if he does that. And one of which is a fetch land.
He'd be tapped down to 2 mana, actually.
Oh, 2 mana. One of which is a fetch land.
Passes the turn. It's going to leave mana up open. Maybe threaten some type of interactivity with the now lethal board and hand state for Justin McGuire.
Combat. Okay. Swing.
Attack.
Resto, maybe?
Ah, there we go. Bounce, draw card, says Yelger.
Built a second repulse.
I wonder if you bounce and... Oh, you can't. Or if you tap and bounce your Snapcaster Mage instead. Or do you... Or is
I'm not
it...
sure he has enough in his graveyard for
You
one
get-
Snapcaster.
Well, you get to use the Cryptic Command again.
Yeah, he seems to prefer digging. Wow, Blade Splicer.
Blade Splicer puts a couple of
Jeez. And
not
he can
obviously
resto.
lethal attackers, but one 3/3 is all it takes. 3 damage just needs to sneak through. It also gives him a target.
Yeah, he can use the Restoration Angel to blink the Blade Splicer and put a second 3/3 into play.
I'm not playing Angel.
So that is a golem. Not sure. We may have a hard time finding a golem.
Please tell me.
And he's
that's
once again going to go main phase Restoration Angel.
Restoration Angel is going to target the Blaze Splicer, which is going to give him another enter the battlefield trigger, which gives him another 3/3 golem. And Blaze Splicer says all of your golems have first strike. Probably not extremely relevant in this matchup, especially in this situation right here. But just something to know. Ooh, we don't have matching golems.
You want to match? You're greedy. I like the variety.
But they're the same they're the same golem. My OCD's going crazy. So it looks like the Paul Cifka and the Cheon Cifka match is done. Looks like Cifka got that match.
Tokens.
Tokens, they're back.
White black tokens. Looks like it might be a player in this new modern metagame.
I wonder if Craig Wesco is on that ticket. So now we get the nice wide view of our last remaining match, which is the King of the Hill match. Yelgar Vigasma, who's playing Splinter Twin versus Justin McGuire. He's playing Just Kind of Control.
Paul Cheon's run has ended, maybe? Or is it 4-1? Is he still feeling pretty good?
He's 4-1. I'd be feeling pretty good at 4-1.
I wasn't sure he was ever going to lose.
Streaks
Those guys did not lose a meaningful match in San Jose. They lost the last two.
This is in fact still game 2. It's been a long one.
Yeah.
We got a couple. I mean, we got a control match deck on one side. We have a combo-ish deck with some tempo and control elements on the other side. So they have to fill each other out for the entire game and try to get their edges where they can. And eventually, someone has a couple of golems and a Restoration Angel in play while the other's at 5 life and struggling.
Well,
we may see a game 3.
Yelgar can still win here. So he goes for Splinter Twin on Snapcaster Mage. I think Yelgar's plan is Lightning Bolt, make a copy, Lightning Bolt. However, Justin McGuire has no interest in letting that happen. Yeah, for the second turn in a row, he's able to kill the Snapcaster Mage as a response to the Splinter Twin.
Yep.
He's 2-for-1 2-for-1 Restore Angel to flicker my Blade Splicer. I mean, it makes sense to me that the control deck would have the better late game. But I mean, the Splinter Twin deck is so scary.
All right, so threatening combat, and the Deceiver XR jumps down. This is going to... And it looks like it's going to tap a land. It's going to tap the Celestial Colonnade so that guy can come out and attack as well. It's a 1/4, so it's a serviceable body to block. It's going to block a 3/3, and there's still 7 damage coming through, but Lightning Bolt takes out one of the golems.
Yelgar stays alive at 1.
Yelgar is at 1
with a Deceiver Exarch in play.
He's one rip off the top?
Yeah, he's empty-handed. Off the top,
Let's
Splinter
see
Twin.
What? Oh, my God!
He did it! He did it!
What?
No, he's got the wear tear!
Oh, wear tear!
No fun. That was such a top deck. Yelgar played for like the last 2 copies of Splinter Twin, and Justin McGuire had all the answers.
Every single answer. But that one wasn't a 2-for-1, at least. That was just a 1-for-1.
It ended the game. It was like an infinite for 1.
It was
Game's over.
I guess he did kill infinite creatures. Infinite -1.
Sure.
Because Yelgar still gets 1. Well, anyway, we're going to see a game 3.
So we get a game 3.
We get a game 3.
Only 7 minutes left on the clock. This could quite possibly end in a draw here.
It could, but both these decks, they both have the actual ability to deal 20 points of damage within 7 to 10 minutes.
Yelgar's does it a lot faster.
It's true, but there are a lot of lightning bolts and cards of that nature in the
I'm just saying, this deck is. I think this game is significantly more likely to end with a Yelgar victory than it is a Justin McGuire victory.
I agree. In order for Justin McGuire to be able to win this game, his role in the matchup becomes the wrong role. He doesn't want to be the beatdown. And if they both just start beating down each other, it's not going to end well for McGuire.
Our check-in on Twitter, to the surprise of absolutely no one, is full of Paul Cheon fans.
Everyone loves Paul.
Paul Cheon trolls.
Paul. If you've ever seen one of Paul Cheon's stream and read the chat, you'd know what was going on here. A lot of Pauling, a lot of yelling.
I'm saying it's an appalling stream.
I was trying not to.
Okay.
I was trying not to say that, but
only when LSV's there trolling.
Yeah, I'm sure LSV's like, yep, that one's already in my repertoire.
but the king stays alive.
So the official ruling on King of the Hill table, for the record, you got to beat the king. If you come at the king,
That's right.
you have to defeat the king to take over King of the Hill.
You must
if this
come
match
correct.
ends in a draw, Yelger will hold on to his seat.
That is right. He actually didn't go out and get a crown, but I think we should incorporate a crown at some point, or some Nicobolus horns.
You could try a yellow jersey.
Yellow jersey.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I like the horns.
The horns would be great.
Good luck to you.
Maybe the M15 ones. Oh, no, not M15. Is that M13? Come on. You have a pair of those horns.
No comment.
I have a pair of those horns. They're actually awesome. All right, let's see some opening hands, and we are ready for Magic. We got Scalding Tarn versus Celestial Colonnade. In the arena, I think Celestial Colonnade wins that one.
Eventually.
Eventually, it wins. They're tied up until
Scalding
Celestial.
Tarn's like, hey, I can cast turn 4 Splinter Twin. I don't know what you can do on turn 4.
I think that's true. 19-20. There's going to be a lot of frisky, furious speed of play here because there's not a lot of time left on this match. Both of these players want to win. They don't want to draw. They probably take a draw other than a loss, but when you're in any stage of a tournament, especially day one, you want to go into day 2 with as many wins as possible.
Looks like second Pro Tour for Justin McGuire. 3 career Pro points from 1 previous Pro Tour.
He's looking solid so far.
Oh yeah, 4-0 is not bad. Hard to start better than that.
Especially with the first 3 rounds of draft, you really have to show you have to get your teeth cut. Oh, Pestermite is threatening the turn 4 kill, but except it gets mana leaked.
Yeah, you just do not want to let those creatures hit the board when you're playing against a Splinter Twin deck. I mean, sure, you can dream about killing the creatures in response to Splinter Twin, but especially when the deck plays a bunch of permission, you just kill those creatures on sight whenever you get the chance. It's usually the right way to play it.
All right, 4th land for Justin McGuire, and he passes. He's still playing a control role.
Here's the Exarch.
That's an end-of-turn Exarch for Yelger, and that hits a Cryptic Command. It's gonna counter the Exarch and draw Justin a card, but now he's tapped out. This is Yelger's chance to play whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's a lot of nothing.
I mean, it's hard for him to do any one thing to be devastating. He really needs to get either Exarch or Pestermite in play without Summoning Sickness to pull off his combo. So.
All right, so Tectonic Edge comes down, and on upkeep, it blows up the steam vents.
And here's the Dillion Click, too.
So, not only a threat, but some disruption. But speaking of disruption, Remand sends it back to Justin McGuire's hand. Justin McGuire untaps. See what his play is. Shields aren't quite down. There's still 2 mana. Right now, shields are down. Shields are down. There's only 1 mana available. This could be an opportunity of a Dillion Click. Is this something you would take?
I don't know if you want to do that on your own end step.
You get a card out of his hand. You shuffle. Well, you shuffle in the card that you put on bottom, which isn't really a benefit. It's a 3/1 body. You can win the game with it.
Draw step.
But he goes for the draw step instead. And there's mana leak. Justin does not have 3 mana to pay for it, but is he going to fight?
I was expecting a rematch.
Well, he said he was respecting a remand, but
This time.
mana leak just puts it in the graveyard. Board still empty, which is in favor of no one. It's still going to, looks like it could end up being a draw.
Favor of team draw.
2 minutes left in this game. Get a look at McGuire's hand. He has a couple of Restoration Angels, a Combust, Cryptic Command, Jace's Ingenuity, and a Flooded Strand. So he's got a great long-term hand, for the long game, but in 2 minutes, it's kind of hard for that Jace's Ingenuity to win the game. Maybe a Restoration Angel, too, could.
Yelger's hand's not really set up either.
It's very reactive. A couple of Lightning Bolts, that's only 6 damage, a Remand. Not sure how either of these players win the game, especially with 2 Pestermite / Deceiver Exarchs already in the graveyard for Yelger.
Still on my turn.
So a Restoration Angel comes down. And it actually doesn't come down. Remand is going to send it back to his hand. I still feel like that if Justin really wanted to win, getting that 3-1 in play on that turn when there was only 1 mana available might have been the strategy, but maybe he's playing to not lose.
I think he just wanted to see the card from the draw step. He would have gotten a mana leaked even if he'd gone for it instead.
That's true, but if he could have played around a mana leak. Okay, so untaps. Probably a little over 1 minute left in this match. 30 seconds are left in this match. And I think there's a little bit of a concession on both players. I think they realize that it's not happening. 10 seconds plus 5 turns does not equal 20 damage with these decks.
Snapcaster Mage.
So Restoration Angel comes onto the stack. Snapcaster
Yeah,
Mage is
mana
going to
leak.
flash back a mana leak. And bye-bye Restoration Angel. And I believe that is time.
Which turn? Did Gelger get untapped before time was called?
They're figuring that out right now.
Your turn 0.
This
Yeah, Yelger is turn 0.
Yelger is turn 0, so time was called on Yelger's turn. Text for 2, and it runs into a Restoration Angel if this Restoration Angel resolves. He blocks. Snapcaster Mage goes to the graveyard. I can only imagine a Lightning Bolt's going to try to finish this off, and it does. Pass the turn back, and there is the ominous die of draw. Once that die reaches 5, if someone doesn't win, the game will be a draw, as will the match. Yogur's turn 2. Do a Snapcaster Mage? He has a Lightning Bolt in his hand. That's not adding up to 19.
Jace's Ingenuity.
End of turn, Jace's Ingenuity for Justin McGuire. That's going to meet a Dispel. Because, why not? Got to go through the motions. Turn 4. Land, pass, and they just shake. It is a draw.
Game 2 was too much. Yeah, definitely. Sitting on all the
Wow,
Alright,
that
so-
game 2 was great though, wasn't it?
That was a great game, too. That was, I mean, not the best game 3, you know, because we didn't actually get into the match. Welcome back to the booth. Rashad Miller, Randy Bueller. We just watched Yelger Vigasma and Justin McGuire. They ended up in a draw. Just to recap what else happened, we had Max Sterling winning 2-0 over Patrick Chapin, who was playing an awesome Delve deck.
Yeah.
Yep, we have Paul Cheon, who lost 1-2 against Cifka, and we had Berthal, who lost against Jacob
So the
Wilson,
super sweet
2-1.
new decks went 1-1.
Yeah, basically.
All right, fair
All
enough.
right. So that's what happened in the feature match area. We're going to send it back to the news desk with Richard Hagan to see what happened in the rest of the tournament.
A ton of stuff going on here in round 5, the second round of Modern. 3 more rounds to come of Modern today, and then we do it all again tomorrow. 3 rounds of Khans of Tarkir Fate Reforged Draft, and then 5 rounds of Modern to determine the top 8 for Sunday. All right, well, we're wading through our deck guides for Modern. We've got one queued up for you right now at the video wall. Here's Brian David Marshall, and to talk about Affinity, Hall of Famer Frank Karsten.